From the sublime to the scratchy, as in Bob Scratchy Records. For the uninformed, that was the name of a radio show hosted by the late musician, songwriter, photographer, and flamboyant KDHX radio host Bob Reuter. He's the subject of the documentary, Bob Reuter's Last Tape. The film's director is St. Louis native Josh Rolens, who is now based in New York. Bob Reuter's Last Tape was part of the 23rd Annual Whitaker St. Louis International Film Festival. It played to a sold-out audience last November at the stage at KDHX. An encore screening is scheduled there this Friday, the 13th, at 7 p.m. Josh Rolens shared with us a few selected moments from his film.
And now it's time for Bob's Scratchy Records. He's so good.
Just imagine we're standing right outside a forest fire, and there's like, you know, there's like thousands and thousands of little elves all popping bubble paper at the same time. They're just biting them with their like razor sharp little teeth, like, you know, and there's bacon fat, you know, and it's all going on. Anyway, Rolling Stones, don't you hate the way you hear the same Rolling Stones songs all the time? It just makes you sick, don't it? Yeah, them damn Rolling Stones. Well, no, it's like, you know, Rolling Stones are like pizza, you know, almost the worst you can get is still pretty damn good. Just got to picture this ballet going on where a bunch of film noir guys are like cutting each other up and dying on the streets and just laying there in the gutters, and it's like a really kind of warm feeling that takes you back to the urban feel, you know. A lot of people from out in the county, they're kind of like scared to come down here, you know, and that's probably a good thing because we will kill them, you know, but we do what we can, okay?
Bob was important to the St. Louis music scene, mostly because of his desire to be important in the St. Louis music scene, and his desire to leave a mark, and his resilience, and his unwillingness to go away and to disappear. It was basically out of his own will and fruition that he was important.
He used his music as a way of exploring who he was and figuring himself out, you know, kind of almost like therapy. So he would have these lyrics that he wrote, and then he would look at them and kind of examine them later and try to figure out what it was saying to him about him.
His songs are so well crafted that what you bring to the song with your instrument is just, you just fall into it. It's just so natural, and you try not. The one thing you don't want to do with his stuff is overplay. You don't want to overplay. You don't want to detract anything from what the song is.
Bob is an American musician, an American folk singer and songwriter, and I think that he probably typifies the spirit of this town better than the Neon Eagle.
My baby loves me. I think that's true. I just don't know if I got love to give.
I was involved with sort of a rock and roll community around town that was a lot of cigarettes and tattoos and, you know, stark wild party inundation. And I'd be like right there with everybody, you know, and the bars would close down at night, and I'd turn the light on, and I was right there with my camera getting everybody as the bar lights were being turned on, you know. And I was like capturing that sort of experience. But the whole time I was photographing the station, I was never one of the people who was drinking, you know. And I was just there sort of living it with them, but I wasn't getting drunk and doing drugs. You know, I was just like documenting it. What I always wanted to do was like capture them at that moment that they're like so puffed up and they feel like they could fly and live out their dreams, you know, and maybe 2 seconds later they fall over on the floor drunk, you know. I want to catch them when they're at their peak, not when they hit the ground. I'm not into like, I'm not making fun of nobody. I'm sort of glorifying the spirit.